of a democratic government. Conditions to success of democratic government. Most of the countries of the world have now adopted the democratic form of government because it is the best form of government. It gives people a chance in the decision making and makes the government accountable to the people. But a democratic government requires some basic conditions to be successful, and they are listed below. Participation. The very foundation of a democratic setup is the participation of the people in the working of the government. In the absence of people's participation, democracy can neither be real nor fruitful. In a democracy, people are given the rights and opportunities to actively participate in the governmental activities at all levels without any discrimination. The most popular form of participation is universal adult franchise. Participation means that people should have effective say in the formation of the government. The tenure of a democratic government is different in various countries. It is a period of 5 years in India, which means that, once elected, government can stay in power for 5 years only. Another way of people's participation in the working of a democratic government is to criticize it when required. People do so by taking out rallies and organizing a signature campaign. The government has to yield to people's agitation if it wants to come back to power. Other methods of showing resentment are dharnas, rallies and strikes, etc. Media, including newspapers, magazines, and television, also play an important role in discussing government issues and responsibilities. Accountability. Figure 4.1, Newspaper. In a democratic government, the elected representatives are responsible for their actions to the people. They will not be elected again if they do not perform according to the wishes of the people. So, all the representatives of the people have to work hard for people's welfare. The entire Council of Ministers is responsible to the legislature and so to the mass. A recent example of the accountability of the government may be cited here. When the central government announced the hike in petroleum prices, the public reacted sharply and the government had to roll back the prices of petroleum products. Resolution of conflicts. Disputes and conflicts are inevitable in a society or country. They occur when people of different religions, regions, or economic background do not get along with each other, or if they feel neglected and discriminated against. People may adopt violent means to settle their differences against, which leads to fear and tension in an area and which is not good for national development. During some religious celebrations, processions are taken out, which may lead to conflict. To avoid this, representatives of concerned communities contact the government officials. In such cases, police play an important role by joining the procession and providing security. Rivers can also become a source of conflict between states. A river may begin in one state, flow through another, and end in a third. In such a case, sharing of river water between different states becomes an issue of conflict. You may have heard about Kaveri water dispute between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. The water stored in Krishnasagar Dam in Karnataka is used for irrigating a number of districts and for meeting the water needs of the city of Bengaluru. The water stored in Mettur Dam in Tamil Nadu is used for crops grown in the delta region of that state. A conflict arose because both dams are on the same river. The downstream dam in Tamil Nadu can only be filled when water is released from the upstream dam located in Karnataka. Therefore, both states could not get as much water as they need for people in their state. This became the reason for conflict between the two states. To resolve this conflict, the central government had to step in and see that a fair distribution is worked out for both states. Equality and justice. One of the basic ideas of a democratic government is its commitment to equality and justice. Nature has made all men equal, and this is the base of democracy. In a democracy, no discrimination is made on the basis of caste, color, creed or birth, and only one's merit is given importance. All are equal in the eyes of law, and the same laws apply to all the people. All are given equal opportunity to hold public offices, and nobody is given special treatment, so equality and justice are inseparable. The earlier practice of untouchability is now banned by law. This group of people were denied education, transport and medical facilities, and even the chance to offer prayers. Many social reformers, including Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, realized that such practices must not be continued and that justice can only be achieved when people are treated equally. The government also recognizes this and makes special provisions for groups within society that are unequal. For example, in our society, there is a general tendency to value the boy child more than the girl child. This means that society does not value the girl and boy child equally, and this is unjust. Here the government steps in by providing special provisions that can enable girls to overcome the injustice that they are subjected to. Thus, it became possible that fees for girls' education might be waived or lowered in government schools and colleges. Links between democracy and government. There is no place for dictatorship in the modern world, as dictatorship is based on force and not on the will and sanction of the people. It is not only in a democratic government that all the elements that support and sustain the government can be found. In a democratic government, conflicts can be resolved amicably. In a democratic government alone, public interest is kept in mind and high ideals of equality, justice and dignity are assured. Public servants, who are the officers of the government, are accountable for their actions and the exercise of authority. The government does not interfere in the personal life of the people. Trivia. The democratic institutions are composed of the representatives of the people, chosen by the people, by some kind of electoral process that will give them the authority to govern on behalf of the people in accordance with the mandate that they have been given. The extent to which the elected representatives must precisely carry out this mandate, and the extent to which, once elected, they may exercise their own judgment, may vary from one democracy to another or from one political party to another.